In sports and business, we have competition. We also have competition in Mother Nature. Areas that have been logged like this, after it's harvested, it has to be looked at within a year, possibly two, but as soon as possible the area has to be reforested, and that's the big thing about silviculture, reforestation. So this tree is struggling with all this, but you know, the tree is still getting water and food through the roots and through the needles. The Douglas fir struggles, but with Mother Nature's help, he's going to do okay. As long as there's not a lot more competition coming in, he'll keep going, unless the alders sort of decide to take over and ruin his life, you know. What I've shown you here is the harvesting chronologically, planting, reforestation, the fun part that I like. This is called a whorl of branches. One of these incremental growths on the stem is 1 year's growth. So from here to here is 1 year's growth. Douglas fir, if we want to go into some botanical names, I'll give you the botanical names. The name of Douglas fir is Pseudotsuga benzizii. Now, if you want to practice that at home, that's fine, but it took me a lot of years to finally get that correct. So it's coniferous and deciduous are the two main types of trees in Canada, in British Columbia. One loses its leaves, the other one doesn't during the winter. The reason they did survive, in this case, is because of the thick bark. The thick bark acts as an insulating layer against fire. Even though it does burn, it doesn't get right into the cambium layer, which is the part where it'll start to kill the tree. When some trees come down, they create more light, more microorganisms, more flora develops because of the light. Light comes through, and light is a very important thing. Okay, that's good.
Yeah, do you see that?
What's it doing?
Yeah, there's trees.
Well, thank you very much for all of that, Brian, and
Well,
thank you for
yep.
having us on your
Not
site.
a
Really
problem.
appreciate it.
Yeah, not a
We'll
problem.
be on our next viewing. And partner, thank you. You're going to be the next one to. What are you figuring? A couple of years, maybe
Yeah.
you'll be doing this. Good man. It's good for the ecosystem. It's good for the environment. People come here. Well, it's like a candy store. You look and see, wow, I think I like that one, or I like that one. And they come out of here, they have their tree, they're happy, take it home, and Christmas has started. And everybody is in the Christmas mood. Harvesting that goes on is done on a bit of a select basis, not vast clear cuts so much as select trees, select openings, and leaving a lot of biodiversity. Stand tending methods all the way through from reforestation, which Mother Nature did here, spacing, pruning, thinning. There's fertilization is another option. The block sign here is stacked on a big leaf maple, and I will give you the name of that tree. The botanical name for big leaf maple is Acer macrophyllum. So that is a deciduous tree which will lose its leaves in the fall. When we say blowdown, it's a very common term for trees that are blowing over in a natural wind from Mother Nature. And behind me, you can see a large fir with a large root system. In fact, there's more than one tree down. One's facing the other way. That was blown down about 5 months ago in a huge windstorm. A fairly good-sized Douglas fir, running probably 90 years old. Been here for a while. Loves this lots of light because it's been harvested around it. This tree is going to grow much quicker now. Woodlots are little known for recreational use. People can come here for several things. It's walking. The roads were built to access this woodlot originally, to to harvest some trees. So you can walk around the loop, it's bushwalking. Berries, I've seen and noticed and even tasted 4 types of edible berries in here in the last week or so when I was looking over the area. Wildflower gazing at certain times of the year, through the summer, early, late spring. And bird watching is another one. The root rot, called Phalinus. Phalinus is the genus. Wearii is the family. That's the botanical name. So if you remember Phalinus, kind of an odd name. Phalinus wearii is the most devastating root rot in the whole northwestern Pacific United States and British Columbia on Douglas fir root rot. It is the #1 cause of death in Douglas fir. Down at the bottom is where you'll see the resinosis. This is a very clear sign, a very clear manifestation of resinosis. So as I show you here, put my hand down, some people call it sap, but what it is the tree is literally bleeding. It's like when we bleed, this tree is bleeding because it's suffering. The trees aren't going to cry out in pain because they just accept what's happening, and that's the way it goes. One thing that we have to mention is the fact that when a tree starts to die, it produces a distressed cone crop. So we can't see any particular distress cone crops up here because the canopies are quite high, but I'm sure we would find some. What that does mean is that the cones produce regular cones even though the tree is under distress. It's got a disease, it's starting to die, could be over a period of years. The cones will open up at one point in the fall and throw seeds. Some of those seeds may actually fill in this area that's open. The thing about Phalinus is, though, that Phalinus wearii stays in the ground, in the root systems, for decades. So when the next stand comes up, if we plant this area, even if it's small, or any others that we see further down, the root rot will be there, and at one point it could start to hit some of those new trees that we planted. Douglas fir has a taproot, which is unlike a lot of other conifers. So taproot makes it more anchored to the ground. The provinces that produce the most Christmas trees in Canada are Quebec, Ontario, and Nova Scotia. In BC, there's generally a lack of trees that are grown on Christmas tree farms, and there's more people that want them. So what is happening is that a lot of Christmas trees are imported from the United States, just across the line, to make up for the lack of inventory. It's surprising that in BC we actually have to import trees to sell, considering that BC, we think, I've always thought, that has the most number of trees in Canada. The 3 biggest producers of Christmas trees, Christmas tree farms, in the world are Germany, France, and Denmark. It's head to head. It's the pine against the fir, but they're both light demanding, which means they both want to get up there and get light. They want to live. You know, that's just what it is with trees. They have to have light unless they're shade tolerant. Why is this western red cedar growing here so well? Well, simply the answer is western red cedar is shade tolerant, so they don't need the light. This one is very healthy, and it's going to go straight up, possibly surpassing the pine and the fir. One of the trees that is dead already. In fact, if I pushed it hard enough, it would go over. So the difference between that is I could move this tree like this, and it's dead. I mean, it's just, you call it a pushover if you want, but so I'm going to call it a crop tree, because in forestry, silviculture, the trees we leave in spacing are called crop trees. It's stand tending, so we're trying to improve this stand's growth and leave the best trees. So here we are. We have the perfect scenario. We have trees spaced 10 feet apart, as they should be, being Douglas fir. They are bigger in diameter and height, and they have lots of space to reach out for those three things that we mentioned earlier: nutrients, water, and sunlight. So a microsite is the area a couple feet around when the planter got to this position. He was looking for some place to plant a tree. Well, he actually picked the best spot. What we've created is a brand new forest. Now, to a forester silviculturist, this is, I could use the word heaven. Heaven to see new trees. This is what we specialize in, this is what we want to see. Kind of the opposite. People might think, well, I'll get a Christmas tree. I'll find a Christmas tree and I'm sure I'll look for a good one, like a healthy one. But what you're really looking for is an unhealthy tree that's somewhat stunted, that has the branches closer together and forms what we normally see as a Christmas tree. And as we have just showed.
Try that again.
So I hope you all enjoyed our show showing the.
Okay, we're rolling.
Well, let's blooper. Oh, sorry. Did you start it already?
We are rolling.
Hello, folks. I'm Doug. Oh, my voice went shitty. Yeah. The other thing that can be done here is I could come in and I could reforest the area with young seedlings. Of course, young seedlings are only 2 to 3 years old. So here I am standing in front of a...
Sorry. Forgot to put my headphones on.
Cut?
Cut. Okay.
Cameraman.
I know, cameramen, they're the worst.
I'm the branch manager. Look at...
How
much am I paying you?
Where's it? Nothing.
Oh, I see. Maybe that's the problem.
Yeah, but you're not getting paid either, so
That's another problem.
it all works.
Thanks so much for walking. What?
We're walking.
Oh.